So this is late March 2016, just after the clocks have gone forward to British summertime, advanced by 1 hour. And in just the past day, the United Nations has negated any austerity savings that the Tory government that came in for the past term and a year nearly, the United Nations have just managed to negate any austerity savings that this Tory government's made. How did they do it? They've just basically, more or less, given the oil and gas rights of ownership of maritime territory to the Argentinian government. And it means that the Falkland Islands, the Malvenas as they call them, that we fought over 20 years ago, and that Royal Marines fought and died for and won back after the Argentinians invaded it. It means that the Falkland Islands are now swallowed up by the Argentinians' new expanded area of the Atlantic that they now have under their maritime territory, all beautifully rubber stamped by the United Nations. So this is fantastic. We really fought hard for that. Our country sank the Belgrano battleship, and it was tough times, you know. And of course, it was never over the little pile of rock that is the Falkland Islands or the Malvinas. Both sides seem to have known all along, but in fact never mentioned it at the time, that they were massive frozen wastes of methane gas deep below the surface, down at the seabed, at that part of the Atlantic. There's also oil there that they're drilling for. These natural resources are worth an absolute fortune. You know, I mean, really proper real money. You know, a billion here, a billion there. Eventually, you're talking real money, said Ronald Reagan. Well, this is real money. This is trillions. 35% increase in territory has just been given. For 20 years, Argentina's been asking for it. They tried to take Falklands by force. Britain kicked them out. And now they've been pressing the United Nations to expand this maritime territory. Now, Britain, of course, has tapped this back, saying that it's not, they don't recognise it, basically. Well, that's fine, but the United Nations does. My point is simply this. I don't like the Tory government. I don't like the Tories. I don't like Boy George Osborne, the Chancellor. I don't like David Cameron particularly. Seems like not a bad bloke. Although it's a case of David wants the vote but don't rock the boat Cameron. You know, he's enabled the vote to happen and then doesn't want us to actually do anything radical with it. They've been busy, basically, with their own Tory little fight going on, and which the EU vote's part of. And there's been the immigrant thing, and there's been this nothing of a deal that was made where David Cameron got crappy child benefits, which is worth nothing and is small change in government terms. Child benefits got dealt with in a conditional way, but people are still going to get them from abroad. But the big bills like housing benefit, which is like 10 times child benefit, 100 times child benefit, more, and the tax credits business, we can't stop people from Europe getting those. So they're a fantastic amount of money, like 50 billion a year or something. 30 billion, sorry. I think it's something like that. And it's just nothing, the child benefits that David Cameron's want to deal with. So my point is this. As long as we were suffering austerity cuts, and it was meant to be for a reason, I'm not saying it was fine, but even me that doesn't like the Tories can accept that maybe there's going to be a benefit at the end of this. Now I'm absolutely sure there won't be. Over the next century, over the next several generations, Britain's going to lose an absolute fortune. We are literally going to lose as a country trillions of pounds. Trillions of pounds, trillions of euros over this massive natural gas reserve and oil reserve that's under that part of the Atlantic by the Falklands. Because we should have had a massive effort on to stop the United Nations carrying this vote. Instead, we've been messing about with little deals in Europe and David Cameron's made a load out of that and travelling around. What a waste of time. This is a load of absolute crap. Our country, Britain, the UK, is going to lose trillions now. Austerity, all these austerity cuts, completely negated. Completely a waste of time. So now there is no reason for those austerity cuts. That's it. They should have been focusing on the Falkland Islands and the oil and mineral rights and gas rights, frozen gas rights and everything. And they've just Argentina's just walked in and taken it. And don't think they didn't know that it was an opportunity while Britain was busy with all that crap. So the Tories, you have cost our country massive and dear, and you can say how it doesn't matter what the United Nations have said, but it absolutely does. And if we were now to try and fight for what the Argentinians are going to take in fish and natural resources, minerals, oil and gas, if we tried to fight to stop them, we'd be legally in the wrong, and some enforcement action would have to happen under the auspices of the United Nations to stop us. What an absolute arse-up. This is trillions of pounds that will now be lost. So David Cameron, this is such a screw-up. This is so wrong priorities. This poxy little deal with Europe. This United Nations thing, this should have been stopped. Never mind all that crap in Europe. Thanks for watching and listening.